Okay, welcome back once again, ladies and gentle jammers, to the Feed Me Pixels channel. I'm your host, Larry, the most hoppiest and frolicky space chupacabra man here today. And when we last left off, I started to fabricate and 3D print some cool stuff. But, well, I need to start to expand some of our storage capabilities. So I went ahead and started farming off some extra material so that we could do that, so we could kind of save a little bit of time on the next episode. And this is basically what our portable storage looks like. So we can take this stuff and put all manner of components in it, and this will allow us to have like a running storage that you can then pick up, and as you place it somewhere, like A, you can bring it with you and store more stuff, but it also keeps all the stuff in it when it transforms back and forth, and you can then slot this modularly into all of these different machines. So this is going to be really handy pretty soon. Unfortunately, it's also nighttime, so we're out of power until the sun comes back up. So I'm going to work on doing a bit more expansion to the old base. And to do that, we just click on any one of these little NERPs coming out of either our pod or one of the other machines, and then start slapping some more compound into it. So we'll do this, slap some stuff in here. And for whatever reason, like, you can't have like a crafting table as a center link like this in the middle of your base. Like, once you craft something off from this, it's like, nah, bro. You can't turn me into a crafty table. You get the fuck out of here with your sauce. So let's see here. Let's put some more resin in here to turn this into another table. Right next to the chasm, I might add. So I should actually build out some more safety rails so that I don't die. I have fallen and died a few times in this game because the physics are kind of slidey because, well, this is a low-gravity planet because it's not quite as cool as Earth. So in this slot, I want to build... Actually, I'm not really sure what I want to build here. I don't want to build a vehicle bay, because this is not the spot to build a vehicle bay. But maybe this will be a fuel condenser. And there's also some other stuff I'll be able to build out of here later. But one of the things that I'm gonna need to do is I'm gonna need to build some more tethers and come back with some more of those plant tumors so that I can research them and, you know, they're so juicy and delicious, and maybe eat them or something. I don't know, whatever you do with plant tumors. Kind of reminds me of those weird growths you get on, like, trees when they have, like, a weird plant virus messing with them. They kind of just grow a weird growth and then let it crust off and die, so they get rid of, like, the virus or the infection. I don't know if that's a good correlation, but it's certainly not the worst idea I've had all day. And I should probably also grab a little bit of extra energy, because that isn't exactly of a surplus at the moment. We need a lot of it for just about everything. So let's have a see here. I'll bring this little piggy back to market. Unfortunately, you can't run super fast when you've got something in your hands. So this is where later having like a truck or a space rover, which we can build both of those things, will come in very, very handy. So one of the things I'm hoping to get out of these tumors, once I'm done getting the research out of them, is sometimes they will drop for us some, whoops, my camera's wigging out for a sec there. Sometimes they will drop some, wait, is this not working right? There it goes. Sometimes they'll drop lithium or other materials, and if I get enough lithium, I'll be able to store batteries for use in the nighttime. So we just learned how to build a truck. That'll come in handy. That was actually one of the last researches that I got on my playthrough. But hey, it's always good to get the really handy ones, like, out of the way immediately. Unfortunately, that means that we're going to have to go through quite a few of these if we want to actually get any cool research. So let's see. I think I had a couple more down here that I could use. Yep, a whole bunch, actually. Let's try this one. This tumor tends to give good things. And there's different varieties of these plant tumors. I mean, I'm calling them tumors. They probably have like a proper name from the game developers, but I haven't popped onto their forums yet, which I've been meaning to do in order to participate in some of the wiki crafting. It's always good to be involved with your community. That is one of the primary cornerstones here at Feed Me Pixels. Always make sure to involve yourself and see what's going on with everybody else playing the game, because you might have like a completely different way of playing than the rest of the wide world, and while that doesn't necessarily matter all that much, it's always interesting to see. So let's build this puppy, and also let's tell this to build another storage thing. So what do you got for us? We get a space lander. We get filters. Yeah, you can build filters now through your inventory. I'm just not 100% sure what these do. And one of the downsides, and also I've got these organics, which I have no idea what those are for. I haven't found a use for those yet. One of the things that I have been slightly confused about has simply been, like, there's not a lot of tooltips in the game yet. I don't know if that's intentional. A lot of this game is pretty intuitive, but there are certain things that I'm not super certain what they're for. Like those filters, I would assume they're air filters, but I haven't seen a lot of evidence that that was, in fact, the case. So let's suck up a bit more compound, and maybe we can answer that question here today. Come, my sweet, sweet, delicious compound. Really? You guys are gonna do a guy like that? I see how it is. You fancy bastards. Alright, well, so I don't waste too much of my tethers. I'll just suck up all this spare oxygen. And hopefully if we get enough compound, that might just extend the duration that our oxygen supply will last us. In fact, it looks like there's actually some new terrain over this way. So maybe this was a worthwhile exploration after all. There's some taller, different plants. There's some new yellow stuff. There's a giant thingy over there that probably does another thingy. Yeah, that's all a bunch of stuff. So we'll suck all this up. There we go. I think I'm gonna hold one more. I think I found... No, I was gonna say, sometimes you end up finding, like, the entrance to an underground cave system. Which is why I always recommend to people to be careful where you dig so you don't dig out below your own footsies. Because that can be dangerous. Now, something that is handy in this game is you can put down beacon markers. And that's really handy for, like, remembering where stuff is. I tend to be pretty good about remembering, like, what direction I wandered off into to find, like, this thing. But if you're not one of those types of people, you can use, what is it, compound? Let's build a filter for one. I think you can use compound in order to build a beacon, and then that'll just have like a nameless beacon out in the middle of nowhere. And I think in the future they'll probably let you pick what icon it'll have. So let's have a look-see here. Yeah, so this is like extra air, is what these filters are providing us. And then we can build a beacon and place this in order to remember what direction stuff is in. So this beacon will represent that in this direction is a bunch of cool new environmental stuff that we can go explore later. And that'll be really handy, because, you know, depending on what game I'm playing, it might be a couple days before I go play it again, or a month or two. This is a game that eventually I will run out of stuff to do in the alpha. Hasn't happened just yet, but we're getting kinda close. Not in this playthrough, but to just me in general. And I might take a break from it for, you know, 2-3 months until they do another big update, and then just dive back in head first, going crazy. But so far, so good. And I've really just been enjoying how very relaxing this game can be. Like that I have definitely enjoyed wholeheartedly. And before we go back underground, I see this little spiny looking plant, and I know that underneath it is another delicious plant tumor. I don't necessarily recommend eating plant tumors, but if you're really hungry, I mean, whatever you want to do, man. It's your body. You do with it what you want. You crazy person. So, pretty much every plant, big plant, has got these either under it or on it. In the case of, say, like, trees, it'll be on the top of them. But if it's a stubby plant, it's probably going to be, like, down lower. You gotta go south. South of the border. And once I've, like, researched a couple of these, they'll start to give me some materials. And I'm hoping some of those materials are going to be lithium, because otherwise we probably won't see a lot of lithium on this planet until we get out onto, like, another planet or onto the moon. So let's see, let's slap this in the old recombobulation machine and research you. And then let's store our spare compound, since we really don't need to be dragging it around with us. Oh, yeah, so here you go. This thing didn't give us any new research, so it gave us some more compound. Which isn't terrible. I mean, it's not the most exciting thing you've seen all day, but it's certainly usable. And you do need a lot of compound, and you can pretty quickly exhaust the compound that's close to your base, so I recommend keeping plenty of spares on hand somewhere. And I still don't know if there's actually a use for these organics, but they're here in case I figure that out later. And you know what? We could use some of this compound to build another solar panel, so we have lots of solar stuff when we are in middle of daylight. So let's do that. Let's build... So here's a battery. If I had 2 lithium crystals, I could build a battery, which would store extra power for us. Or I guess I could build a generator, but I don't have any coal yet. And if we had a machine, the way that you build machines is they build, like, just the base first, and then from there you can, like, add different modular components, like extra seats. Because I think you can actually play this game multiplayer, but I haven't messed around with that just yet. So we're gonna build this puppy up. It actually looks like this wind turbine is worth its weight in gold so far. Like, it is already helping to fill everything back up, which is super duper handy. Like, really handy. In fact, I might try to build another thing way out here that'll help us to generate more wind, but I'll do that later. That's not super exciting for right now. Is there a way down here into a cave? Doesn't really look like it. Sometimes these are just ravines. Like, this isn't... Is this a cave? This could be a cave, actually. Cave actually sounds like a really shitty romance comedy. Really shitty rom-com. Let's build us a nice little ramp to get out of here. Out of Murder Town once we go in. Oh no, that isn't a cave. It's just kind of a nook in the wall that had weird shading. Well, it's never a bad idea to go explore your campsite. Worst case scenario, you just have a nice relaxing walk in the space woods. And who doesn't love the space woods? The answer is, Space Sasquatch is more of like a spaceship guy, but aside from Sasquatch, no, we're fine. Oh, come on, don't give me... Every time you suck up plants in this game, it's like, do you want more organics, Larry? Of course I do, game. How did you know? You saucy bastard. So let's see, while we're down here, let's get a whole bunch more, material. So over this way is more copper and another tumor. This is what the tumor looks like from trees. Or in this case, a bunch of funny looking barnacles. And there's nothing underneath of that one. We'll suck up this thing. Funny enough, you can actually keep these things working correctly with the physics, provided you don't mess with the ground around them too much. Sometimes it helps to fill in the ground, but sometimes, like that time, not so much. Oh shit, that is a really big cave. Holy crap. Well, I guess I know how deep that goes. really deep. Like super duper deluxe dodecahedral deep. Which means that this pocket of copper is going to end very quickly. Yep, that's a hole. That's a murder hole. I'm gonna fill that murder hole because I don't want to die. And when you're trying to avoid things murdering you in this game, it's very easy to stumble into your own murder hole. So that's Larry's life lesson number 2. Always fill in the murder hole so that A, they can't find the evidence that easily of your crimes, and B, you don't fall into your own murder hole and break your shins. Because it's really awkward to explain to the prosecutor, well, yeah, I almost got away with the crime of murder, but then I fell in my old murder hole. Like, that's just awkward, especially in prison. Like, no one wants to hear that story. That'll get you shanked in the shower. So this is more hydrazine. I don't really need that until I decide to go into space. Oh god, no. Okay, that was almost terrifying. Good news, low gravity. In fact, the best news today, really. Alright, there's more undulating pus friends over that direction. And this is another murder hole filled with hydrazine. Which I don't really need, so I'm just gonna ignore that. Don't really need all this oxygen. That's kind of excessive. Where can we go for more copper or basically anything at this point? Oh, it sounds like there's a storm a-brewing up topside. So I might hang out in this cave for a little bit longer than I intended. Oh, look, it's our friends, the puss bags. Oh, look at them. Aren't they just adorable? Aren't they just the cutest little shits? Alright. I'm getting really good at killing them, as I'm sure you've noticed. So on that note, let's suck up all this copper, because we are going to need so much copper. You don't even understand how much copper we are going to need to do things. We're going to need a lot of it. A whole lot of it. That is... yeah, that's definitely a storm topside. I will show you what those look like eventually. I'm probably not gonna really have a choice in the matter. The game really likes to share storms all the time after a certain point. I think that's gonna cover us for copper, so let's grab one of those tumors and see if it's safe on the surface. I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say there's a good chance that it's not. Like a really good chance that it's not. Whoop, there you go. Okay, I'll show you these little bastards. So you see these things? I think these are the stabby things. Oh no, they're not. Okay. Some of these are stabby, but these are good, it looks like. So I'll take one of their little nodules with us up here. In fact, let's just throw this plant up over here. Don't fall down the hole. Don't you dare. Okay, I'll make a pile at the top of the murder hole. Of our murder ramp. There we go. Couple of these. It's almost like they're covered in confetti. Whatever those are. So we'll get a couple of those. I don't need this much power. As nice as it is to have around, not really that necessary. So we'll take these, like, clown hats with us. Okay, it doesn't look like there's a storm, but you'll know a storm when you see one. They're a giant cloud of what looks like pixelated dust. And they will kill you, so don't play with them. Don't play grab ass with the storm. Like, I thought it was gonna be fine, like you just have to wait it out, and then a rock hit me and killed me instantly. And I was just like, no shit. Yes, yes, game. You and your oxygen, you silly goose. So let's put this in this machine. And let's deposit our power, because we don't need all that. And let's see what we get. We're probably going to get some more research, because we haven't been putting a lot of these in here yet. And it looks like we got... I mean, the symbols don't mean anything, but we got a trade platform. And what the trade platform is going to allow us to do is exchange fuel for different components. And that I'm going to start using very quickly, because it's like the best thing ever. And then for the rest of this, let's slap these things into this machine, because I want to have lots of copper. There's no time like copper time. In fact, let's take this and put this over here. There we go. And now we can put the rest of this copper in here. And unfortunately, this machine is going to end up using, like, the same amount of stuff, no matter what you end up putting in it, so, or the same amount of power. So you might as well fill it up, you know? There's really no reason to waste completely, perfectly good, electricity. Because out here, it's a literal bumper crop, because you can get it off the dirt. Like, that shit just grows out of the ground. Or in this case, out of this weird siphon node. That kind of looks like they shrink. Like acne. So let's go back over here. We'll put this power into the system, because you can really never have too much in this game. Let's just slap this over here. There it is. Now we can finish what we were working on. This is, I guess, gonna let us build that fuel condenser. Whoops, I didn't want to do that. Certainly not. But this will allow us to work on that. And that's where we will end off this lovely episode. So let's slap this in here. Couple pieces of copper, and yeah, this might as well just be a fuel condenser. It's not like we're running out of spaces to put things. So why the floop not? Alright, so basically the idea is this just converts raw power into fuel. But again, we don't have anything to use the fuel on, so that's where we're going to leave off for this episode, ladies and gentlemen. I've been your host, Larry the Chupacabra. Don't forget to like and subscribe here at the Feed Me Pixels channel. And until next time, that'll be it. Have a good one, everybody, and toodaloo. And if you want to check out my series on this, which is the trials and tribulations of the Space Chupacabra as I was figuring everything out, you can find a link to my channel in the video description below. So have a good one, everybody, and toodaloo.